Garden, and welcome to another writing lesson. We have been writing all about characters acting like people and talking. So today we are going to be adding on to our work, and you may be also working on a fix and finish. However, today we are going to be adding something special to our writing. But before we dive into that, I have a question for you. How do you get to the grocery store? Do you use the bus? Do you use a car? Maybe you walk. Your teacher's going to pause the video and you guys are going to talk about how do you get to the grocery store? There are many different ways of traveling, and people choose the way that works best where they live, depending on what the roads are like, how far they want to go, and what kind of transportation they have access to. In a very similar way, there are different ways of writing an idea. Some ways may work better than others. Writers may choose the way that works best in their writing. We call this sifting and sorting. Sifting and sorting will help you try different ways of writing an idea. And today we're going to try a different way of having the characters in our story talk. I'm going to model this for you, and then you will get to add to your writing. So today we're going to be doing some sifting and sorting by using speech bubbles to show our characters their spoken words. So in my little picture here, you see a bear, and he's saying, "Have you seen my honey?" And this white object is called a speech bubble, and we'll talk more about what a speech bubble is in a little bit. Today, your writing materials may look different throughout all of the pots. You might have done your writing on lined paper, used pencil and crayon, and will continue that work. You may have done it directly in Seesaw. You may have taken pictures. Your teacher will let you know what you need to get and what you will be using. They may pause the video now or later for you to get those materials. Remember, good writers think, tell, write, and draw. So, ways to add words. We have already practiced this one right here, adding labels. We have become pros at drawing our illustrations and adding labels. Today, we are going to practice adding words by using speech bubbles, which is your character having a little object called a speech bubble, and it'll show what a character is saying or thinking. We will soon be writing sentences that go along with our illustration, but today we're going to focus on speech bubbles. So what are speech bubbles? As you can see, this object is a speech bubble. This will go right next to the character that is talking, and you will write what that character is saying and thinking in the speech bubble, and we'll get to work with them today in your writing, as our writing piece is all about characters talking. Speech bubbles can provide readers a better understanding of what characters are saying or thinking. So as you see in this picture, I have a sentence that says, "Sam helped Ben go to the nurse." When I read this sentence, I know that my characters are Sam and Ben, and they go to the nurse. However, the author has put speech bubbles to help me better understand more of what's happening in this picture and the sentence. In the speech bubble, it says, "My knee hurts." In this speech bubble, it says, "Come on, I'll take you to the nurse." My sentence says, "Sam helped Ben go to the nurse." Do our speech bubbles help us know who is Sam and who is Ben? Yes, they do. This speech bubble says, "My knee hurts." When we read the sentence, it says, "Sam helped Ben go to the nurse." That means Ben is the one with the hurt knee because he needed help going to the nurse. And this is Sam because he is saying, "Come on, I'll take you to the nurse." Raise your hand if you have ever read or heard the "Don't Let the Pigeons Drive the Bus" books. Those are one of my favorite books. And in those books, you see the pigeon have speech bubbles on almost every single page. This text is a great example of speech bubbles, as the author just uses speech bubbles. So here's an example of how we can better understand what the pigeon is thinking and saying. I'll be your best friend. How about I give you $5? No fair. I bet your mom would let me. This is just a part of the book, but it tells us that the pigeon really wants something and is trying to give things to the person that he's asking a favor from. Another example of speech bubbles in a text are in this book. We could surprise each other. You can see that the speech bubble has an exclamation point, which means that it's something very exciting, and you can see on the elephant's face that the elephant is happy. Then we go over to the pig, and the pig is saying yes. We're able to see what the animals are saying and what they're thinking. So let's give it a go. I have a sentence that says, do you like pizza? Your teacher is going to pause the video, and you guys are going to think, what could this girl say, and what could we write in this speech bubble if we were the author of this speech bubble? I'm sure you guys came up with many different things that we could put in the speech bubble. I chose to say, yes, I like pizza. I use an exclamation point. Exclamation points let us know that you're excited and you're happy, and it's really a big thought. So, were we able to connect our speech bubble with the sentence, do you like pizza? Yes. Do you like pizza is a question. We were able to answer in our speech bubble, yes, I like pizza, and know what this girl is thinking and what she wanted to say. Let's take a look at my story. Just to refresh your memory, my story is about Dave the duck. He was thinking about giving a gift to his Aunt Sally. He came upon a pond and saw a flower, and he thought, wow, a flower would be a great gift for my Aunt Sally. At the end of the story, Dave gave Aunt Sally a flower as a gift. Today, we'll add those speech bubbles in our writing. Stories are usually interesting with dialogue. Dialogue means when people or animals are talking in a story, and dialogue are the words that characters say. We are telling a story about characters' reaction to an event, and we can tell the words the character speaks to show how they feel. So we're going to focus on the end of my story on how Aunt Sally would feel when she receives the gift from Dave. I wonder what Aunt Sally could say to show Dave how she feels about the gift. Your teacher is going to pause the video, and I want you to come up with a couple things that Aunt Sally would say to show Dave how she feels about her gift. Now we're sifting and sorting today. So this is where sifting and sorting is going to come in. I'm going to show you 3 sentences I came up with that might be good choices of what Aunt Sally could say to show Dave how she feels about her gift. We're going to sift and sort the best choice for the ending of my story. So I came up with, this is great, I love you, and thank you. Now, let's match the ending picture to each sentence and decide, does it match the picture and if it makes sense? This is great. Is this sentence, this is great, a good match for what Aunt Sally could say to show how she feels about her gift? It does make sense, but it doesn't make my idea of how Sally really feels and what we normally say when we receive something, when we get a gift. Let's go to the next one. I love you. It makes sense. It's a great way for Sally to show Dave how she feels about him. However, we want Aunt Sally to show Dave how she feels about the gift. So I love you would not be a good choice for what we want our speech bubble to say. What about thank you? Does thank you make sense? Thank you sounds like a natural thing to say when someone gives you a gift. It also adds to the idea that she liked gifts. See that we have the heart? That tells us that Aunt Sally really liked the gift. So we're going to add thank you to my speech bubble at the end of my story. So Aunt Sally is saying thank you, and I will add it to the end of my story. You can always add more speech bubbles to the rest of your story, but I just focused on the end. So when I retell my story, when I present it to my teammates, I can say, Dave was thinking about giving a gift to his Aunt Sally. He came to the pond and saw a beautiful red flower. He gave the red flower to his Aunt Sally, and Aunt Sally said thank you and loved the gift. Here's my speech bubble. Today in Seesaw, you are going to be adding a speech bubble to at least your last page. You can come up with a couple different things you want to say and sift and sort. Until next time, bye, Kipsters.